Well. Welcome, dear viewers, back to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host, Maverick, and today we are going to be watching the finale of The Rising of the Shield Hero. So, it's been a bumpy and turbulent ride so far, both for Naofumi, what he had to go through, and also for us viewers as well, due to some adaptation inconsistencies, if you will. Although I'm not going to go too far into that right here. I'll talk about that at the review portion of my video, which I will not only review this episode in particular, but also the entire series as a whole up to now. But in any case, whatever misgivings we had, this is the final episode. We're in the final battle. We got Glass, we got Laluku, we got Therese. We've confirmed that they're from another world, and they're trying to, in essence, destroy the resistance of this world, right? The heroes, if you will. So that this world would be overtaken by the waves, and so that their own world can be saved. At least that's what I got from some of you guys. It wasn't exactly explained within the anime, but so there we go, right? And Naofumi's got quite the battle ahead of him. Last time he couldn't even take on Glass by himself, but this is not last time. He's since leveled up, he's learned new mechanics, so maybe he's going to have a better chance this time around. And who knows, maybe the other three heroes will actually be of some use within this episode, right? Although I guess we shouldn't have our hopes up too high. In any case, let's just find out what happens together right here. Alrighty, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, never mind. It looks like they're still incapacitated. Definitely a bit different this time. Oh? Is Glass weak to SP drain attacks? Combo. Ooh. Okay. You probably shouldn't use an AoE attack against such a small group of people. Yeah. Maybe all her abilities work on SP? It's rough. The fan hero. Oh. No P this time? Nope. The Rising of the Shield Hero. You should probably worry about your own side first. Dog bite. Oh. She's weak to SP drain attacks. Well, he just wants to go back. Yeah, he just wants to go back. Oh. Maybe all the people that you've met so far? I mean, if you can't even protect your own world by fighting off the waves, that's your own problem, isn't it? Yeah. Even if Naofumi doesn't really care about this world, he cares about the people in this world. What about the other duo, though? That was a rage shield, right? Oh? I mean, isn't she also a pretty strong magic wielder in her own right? What are you two doing? Ah. Just to protect those that he cares about. Okay. She's bad against alcohol. That's pretty funny. So, again, how are you already here when you disappear when the wave? What? And you three are useless. Still useless. Like, I still don't get it. Why did Laluku and Therese, why were they able to be here first before the wave even happened? Hmm. How about if all the heroes from the different worlds were together to fight back the waves? Like, if there's a way for them to come here while the wave is happening, can't they just come here, fight off the waves, and then in return the heroes from this place do it in return? Just a thought. Oh. More companions? Oh. Oh? Why? Just like now for me? Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you did good. Is she going to be a new member? Hmm. But wasn't she already kicked out? We still got time. So, what are they actually going to do? The village? I'm guessing it's something to do with her village. Oh, let me guess. So, Raftelia's village is reinstated, and then now Flumi is the new lord of that domain? Maybe? Probably not Zutto, but... Hmm? Yeah, it should have something to do with the village, right? Yep, there we go. That makes sense. Oh. But it's a demi-human village. It would have been better if it was actually a mixed village. The girl. Alright, so it does seem... maybe? A mixed village? Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that's going to help ease the relations between demi-humans and humans. Otherwise, if it was just a secluded demi-human village, it's going to be the same as before. Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about him dying. Really? Then again, like I said before, like, what does he really have in his former life? Anyways. Hmm. Aww. Hmm. Ah. Oh. Oh. That is a nice callback. That's a good ending. Okay, let's watch this, but I'm going to mute the music. And yet you're fighting balloons? Hmm. Wait, wasn't that one of the shadows right there? So, he did kind of help him? Huh. So that wasn't just coincidence after all. And there we have it, the ending of this season of Shield Hero. I gotta say, that ending was pretty damn nice, all things considered. But let's talk about all the aspects of the episode first, right? So, of course, first of all, we start out with the big fight, right, between Fumi and Glass. Now, yeah, and there's this whole she's weak to SP stealing attacks or something, SP absorption attacks. If we're using a game mechanic, I would assume that maybe her SP bars and HP bars are sort of, I don't know, reversed or something, like she uses her SP bar as her health bar. Again, if we're using a gamification analogy. But I don't know, right? And it's not really that important, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. I was kind of disappointed that Naofumi didn't have a chance to use one of his finishing moves, but I guess because that would be invoking the Curse series and Rage Shield and whatnot, so probably kind of a bad idea, right? But still disappointed nonetheless. However, the entire time I was more fixated on one thing, and that is, number one, how exactly did Laruku and Therese, enter this world even before the wave, when we clearly see that when the wave's time is up, they need to transport back to their world, right? So how exactly did this work? It's never explained, maybe it's not important, but I just feel like that's kind of an inconsistency that I would like to know the explanation to. And also, I just keep on thinking, like, is there really no other solution other than just, trying to defeat this world's heroes so that the wave would instead attack and infest this world instead? I don't know, it just seems like a pretty huge jump of logic to immediately go to this kind of conclusion and then assume that, like, think about it for a second. If you as a hero, you can't even fight off the waves, what guarantee do you have that you can enter another world and kill off the heroes of that world, right? Like, how does that even make sense? And if you had the time to be doing this, why aren't you in your world protecting your world from the waves, right? So, first of all, that's the first big question that I have. And the second question, as I also mentioned within this episode, since, it seems that they are able to go back and forth between the different worlds, what would happen if, say, for instance, I don't know, they all go together. Like, do the waves happen at the same time in both worlds? Question mark? Like, I don't know, since we're not really given any of the mechanics of this, so there's really just too much speculation I have, but I just keep on thinking, isn't there maybe a way for the two worlds to work together to fight against this wave, instead of just, trying to defeat the other side so that they would be the sacrifice to the waves, right? I don't know, I just feel like that could have been discussed maybe a little bit earlier instead of jumping immediately to the conclusion that you have to be mortal enemies, right? Like, that doesn't really make sense. But whatever, we gotta have a story, right? So, anyways, that's that part, and that's what I was thinking the entire time in regards to that wave, at least. We have this side story with Rishia. Not really sure how relevant that is, and since this is the last episode anyways, probably you gotta go read the light novel or the manga or something, right? So whatever, I'll skip over that for now. I did like how Naofumi eventually got this, I guess, not just this village but this domain as his territory. That was to be expected. And I did like how within his village that he was rebuilding, at least his home base, if you will, he's got not only the demi-humans but also the other humans as well, right? So as I mentioned, it wouldn't have been very good if it was simply all demi-humans. Then you would face the same exact problems as the generations of past, right? There's always going to be this kind of prejudice and racism between the two different races. You gotta have a village where both races can coexist peacefully, and that would serve as an example to the rest of the world. So I did like how they went with that part. And of course, the entire Raphtalia scene, right? So she's finally able to speak her mind, which she's been holding in for like the past 10-15 episodes. And also Naofumi finally made up his mind to stay within this world. At least that's what I can get from their dialogue at the very end. So I actually touched on this already before. Like, once Naofumi got his name cleared, I was like, dude, why are you still so insistent on returning to your world, right? Because as far as I can remember, in the very beginning, in the very first episode, he lived a rather uneventful, unproductive life, right? I believe he was a NEET, someone who just stays at home and uses computer all the time and doesn't really have a job or anything. So hey, he's got he's got a calling, he's got friends, he's got, you know, some hot chicks surrounding him, if you will. What's not to like about this world, right? Especially once he's got his name cleared and everything is going up for him. I don't know. If that was me, I would probably want to live in that world. But that's just me, right? So, but anyways, it's nice that Raphtalia finally got her wish. And were they actually kissing at the very end? I went back and rewatched it, and I feel like it's very deliberately angled so that we assume they are sharing a kiss. Maybe, maybe not. If yes, well, then good for both of them, right? Yay. Right, whatever. And I really did... one scene I really did like was at the very end when their flag was being hoisted up to Naofumi's new castle, right? And that callback to the part where, in the past with Lolly Raphtalia, where Naofumi put a small flag on her food, right? I really like these kinds of callbacks to earlier episodes, and it does bring out the emotions when you have that kind of scene. And that entire lead in to the ending song and to the ending credits, like, I've criticized this anime for a lot of different things before, but for this part, I have to give them props. I feel like that ending was handled quite nicely and quite beautifully as well. So I applaud them for handling it in that way. And of course, all the other characters had to have a quick gander and a quick scene as well. But whatever, right? So, but anyways, so the ending song is great. Overall, I do feel like this is a nice conclusion, a nice ending to this season of Shield Hero. So, nice. At least they ended on a good note, right? So how do I feel about the series as a whole? Well, I gotta be honest, it's definitely different from what I originally expected watching the first episode. I thought this was going to be a more Count of Monte Carlo type of situation, right? A revenge story, trying to get back at those who wronged him. So apparently not. I was expecting Naofumi or the Shield Hero to turn out into a sort of anti-hero, or at least maybe more, chaotic neutral, something like that. But as it turns out, he really, in no time at all, turned back to chaotic good, right? He's still basically a person with justice in his heart. It's just that he's not as caring about other people's opinions of him, right? So, I guess it is what it is. I think, really, what I was expecting was a revenge story, and what I got was instead... the actual story that we've been shown so far, and what these 25 episodes has been about, is really more about Naofumi's relationships with the people that are in this world, if you will. And I guess that is probably more important and, the main focal point of this story, as we can see so far. And that is what actually compelled him to stay in this world at the very end, right? So it's this kind of relationship, this kind of bond between Naofumi and the people in his journeys, and especially between his companions, and especially with Raphtalia, that is the focal point of these stories. So, it's actually a very shonen trope, a shonen anime type trope, if you will. So, whatever, right? I went into this with different expectations. I got something that I didn't expect, but okay, it's not something that's going to completely turn me off. So, that's fine. And one part that I was also expecting, which I didn't really get, is the sort of mechanics, the game mechanics of this world, right? So I actually really enjoy works which sort of gamify the world. It's used in a lot of light novels as well, and when it was shown here, I thought that they were going to do something similar, right? Since they already went through the entire, trouble of making a status screen, right, built in within this world, I thought, hey, maybe they're actually really going to call on a lot of gaming RPG tropes and etc., right? A very meta kind of story. But they didn't really go that route, so that was kind of disappointing to me as well. But like I said, different expectation. I guess I can't really fault it for that, but I just feel like they could have expanded on this maybe a little bit more, considering that they already have these systems in place. And finally, okay, not finally, the dialogue I actually really liked. I felt like both the dialogue itself and the voice actors, they did a pretty good job of giving the dialogue oomph, right? You never felt like it's out of place or it's poorly voice acted, or it's just because there are some animes where you can really tell that, or really pick out these weird stuff within the dialogue. Maybe it's the dialogue doesn't really make sense, or maybe it's voice acted poorly or whatnot, or there's not enough emphasis between the soft and hard voices, strong voices. But this was definitely a well voice acted anime. It's in this sense you can say it has a respectable amount of quality, right? And finally, the animation part. So I don't exactly think the animations, especially the fight scenes in Shield Hero, is anything to write about. But I did really like the the finishing moves that Naofumi uses when he's using the Curse series, the Iron Maiden, and then the also the other kind of stuff, right? Like, that is cool. I gotta give them props for that. That is cool. It's a shame that they didn't use it a little bit more, right? Such as in this episode. So I guess overall, I can't really say that, like, to be honest, it's not my favorite of this season or my favorite of last season, but I'd still say this is a pretty damn solid anime. Now, what I will say, however, is I really disliked, especially since a lot of you guys also left comments in regards to how the original story was and whatnot. I'm not really a fan of how they change a lot of things within this adaptation, right? Especially, to me, the biggest, for me, still the biggest negative would be, I believe, episode 14 or episode 16, where I really just directly called out them for having a very inconsistent and illogical story, right? So, and that is just me going from an anime viewer perspective. So that was the episode which I felt really did not make any sense at all. Especially for you guys who maybe come from mangas or light novels, a lot of you have said how they've changed Naofumi's personalities, they changed some of the events, they didn't properly explain some of the events. And I believe these are legit and valid criticisms of this anime, and that is definitely something that I hope going forward, if there's a second season, which I don't really have any information on. It's not really been released either on Twitter or anything, but I feel like it's quite a possibility. If they do eventually do a second season, I hope they actually take care of these kinds of things instead of trying to do something original and instead making it worse, if you will. So that is a legit point that I will take from this anime. Although it got some of its points back with its ending, so I guess it kind of... No. Sorry, I'm not gonna give it a pass just for that. They really needed better, storyboarding or plotting, planning, or whatnot, something of that nature, right? So yeah, so I guess that concludes everything I want to talk about for this episode and for Shield Hero as a whole. Like I said, Season 2 hasn't really been announced yet, not really sure. This series is still hugely popular, both in its light novels and in its anime as well, so there's a pretty good chance that it will receive a second season. If it does, I'll watch it, right? Just to see, even though it's not really what I expected, like I said, it's still a solid anime so far. And since I've already watched Season 1, there's no reason for me not to watch Season 2 if it comes out, right? So, if that does come to pass, you can expect me to watch it. So yeah, and so it's been a fun ride so far. We've had our ups and downs. Thank you all for watching this series as well. If you like, you feel free to check out my other work. If you didn't know by now, my videos are more... I put more emphasis on the after talk session, right? My musings and review section, where I like to go, especially for some other types of anime, go more in depth into the mechanics or, what they're actually talking about, and doing some theory crafting and predictions and stuff. This one, not so much, because it's more of a straightforward anime. But if you do like it, feel free to check out my other works. If not, well, it's your time, your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So, hey, you do you, right? So, I hope I can see you guys again, and if not, I wish you all the best. So, this is Maverick signing off. Bye-bye.